Hey, Will, how fired up are you guys, especially your senior class, for this game against Air Force?
We're super excited. Hopefully, last time we beat Air Force was in 2019. So our class hasn't done that yet. Hoping to pull that off on Saturday.
What's the biggest difference for you guys defensively when you play in these service academy games? Because I would imagine you guys know so much about them and they know so much about you.
Yeah, it comes down to really one or two plays. The fixation to detail. You got to have your eyes on your key, and you can't let the energy sway you one way or another.
Every team that does the option is unique in how they do it. You've seen Air Force do the option several times. What's unique about their option offense?
They always have really good athletes, and what they do differently is they love running their B back and getting the ball on the edges and all that stuff. They're really good at it too. Obviously, as you can see, they're I think number one in rushing yards per game this season. So they're really good at what they do.
And how much pride do you guys take in the Commander in Chiefs trophy, getting that back?
Oh, an immense amount of pride. Haven't got it since I've been here, so looking to have a great start on that this year.
Thanks, Will.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Well, can you talk about the challenge of stopping Air Force's offense?
Yeah, just like I said, they're really good, really explosive offense. They love to run their beat back. They love quarterback runs, and then every now and then they'll hit you with a pass. They're really dynamic triple option. They got a lot of really good athletes, a good O line. Yeah, they're a good team.
I just saw that their offensive line got the Joe Moore Award for Offensive Line of the Week. What is it about this offensive line that makes them so good?
They're physical. I think they know they know their job and they know what they're supposed to do, how to combo block and all that stuff to get in the way and let their athletes do the work and continue to move the ball down the field.
What do you think makes Air Force's version of option offense unique as compared to perhaps what Navy has done in the past and now and Army?
I think a difference is to me at least I see them, they use their B back a good bit more and with trap and belly and other stuff they do a lot of good stuff with the B back and their quarterback play is really good.
Well, we found out from the Air Force side that their starting quarterback, Zach Larrier, is not going to play in this game. How does that change things for you? And secondly, have you been able to, is there much film available on the backup quarterback so you can get a better feel for what he does and how he plays?
Yeah, it doesn't really change a whole lot in preparation. We're going to prepare how we're going to prepare anyways, whether it's for number 9 or number 5. So, them rolling him out isn't going to change a whole lot for us. And with their backup in film, I think he got in a little bit in the last game against Wyoming. And then I think when they were up big on, I think San Diego State, he got in there too. So.
In general, what's the difference? I mean, Larrier is a sprinter. I think he's the 200-meter champion in the Mountain West Conference. I don't think this other guy is. Just how would you describe the difference in the core? How's this backup quarterback different?
Yeah, they're both really good athletes. I think number 9 is more. He can get the edge on you. Number 5, I think definitely still can, but doesn't have that same burst as the original starter would have. So they're just a little different in that aspect. They both can get vertical really well. If you leave a gap, they can one cut you, get vertical, and get a lot of yards, make big plays.
You seem to be getting more and more consistent. I mean, you're really kind of coming into your own and playing your best football. Charlotte game, obviously, you were tremendous. What, just kind of, you feel like you're really locked in right now, Will?
Yeah, I think it's all in our preparation as a team. Honestly, I think the D line's playing amazing. As a linebacker, I can't do my job without D line playing great, and then obviously like the striker and the safeties doing their job. We all play together, and that's the key to all of us being able to play the best we can.
I think Pete Metters brought this up with Coach Newberry earlier in the week, but with the rotation you have at inside linebacker, you're able to get some plays off and get some rest. Is that helpful to you? Does it enable you to really go at it full bore when you're in there?
Yeah, most definitely. I think it keeps everyone fresh. Getting a couple series off every now and then, every 2 or 3 series. It really helps stay fresh and keep us productive.
Thanks, Will.
Yeah, of course.
Scott.
Will, in this series, home field advantage, such a big deal with the altitude and everything out in Colorado. How important is it for you guys, especially as seniors now, to have this game on your field at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium?
It's extremely important. I think it's going to be an amazing atmosphere, sold out crowd. All the Navy fans there. I'm super excited to see the energy, the brigade brings and everything. It's going to be a fantastic atmosphere, and I think they're going to bring great noise on when we're on defense, and sway the energy our way.
Could you ever imagine what it was going to be like playing for your time at the Naval Academy, knowing that and seeing them and hearing them, that every person that you go to school with on campus is at your game?
No, I mean it's crazy. No, they have to, but it's awesome to see them, and then once you get to know them and they get to know us, they actually have a pretty good amount of fun at our games.
Thanks a lot, Will. Good luck.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Wags.
So obviously the seniors have not beaten Air Force. How important is this to the senior class in particular?
I mean, it's really important. Every game's important. You want to win every game. This one would just be a little sweeter.
There's a lot going on with the game. Roger Staubach's going to be there to get honored. Paul Johnson, the former coach, is being honored.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there's always a ton of pomp and circumstance. How do you block that out and focus on what's between the white lines?
Yeah, we just got to stay locked in and be able to flip the switch and keep our mind on the game. And if you feel yourself starting to wonder, you channel yourself back and stay focused.
So what would it mean to be able to? Nobody gives Navy a chance in this game. Air Force has got this offensive juggernaut. Does that kind of put a chip on your shoulder? And what would it mean for the program with a new coach, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator? How much would it mean to beat Air Force and really send a message?
It'd mean a lot, obviously. Just like you said, new coach, kind of trying to get a hold on to this program. We were 1-3, now we're 3-3. This win, would kind of flip the switch, flip the agenda, I guess. Putting us in positive record, and it would be great for the program.
You've seen this Air Force team 4 past seasons. What is it that's unique about their option offense?
Hey, Scott. I think there's a number of things that are unique in terms of the way that they try to attack you offensively. And I think for them, everything starts with up front. I think their offensive line plays at a very high level and is a big challenge for us defensively. So I think that's a deal where, we got to put our hard hats on and we got to have our best game on Saturday in the trenches on the line of scrimmage.
How have practices been this week getting ready for them?
Yeah, they've been spirited. The guys have practiced with a lot of urgency and detail, and we're well on our way to being prepared for Saturday.
Is it an advantage, since this is a home and home series, unlike the Army series, that you get them at home, not having to deal with not only the travel and things of that sort, but the altitude?
I think whenever we get to play at home, it's a big deal for us. And obviously, sold out crowd. There's a buzz around the city here, all those types of things. I think it's going to be in an amazing environment on Saturday. Really excited about it, seeing our guys get out there and have an opportunity to play at home in such a big game and a game of this magnitude.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate your time, man.
Mike James.
Hey, Coach.
Mike?
For the last two games now, you've used the corner blitz has been a big part of those games. Last week, really did a lot to kind of shut down those backside runs that Charlotte was doing, and then the week before, the last drive against North Texas, that sack on the last drive, came on a corner blitz too. Do you have, knowing that you have Ray and Mbidi Williams back there on the back end, do you have a little more confidence calling that play? Because if it's not executed well, that could be kind of a risky play.
Yeah, it's always a high risk, high reward. And anytime you pressure, it can be. You have to be calculated when you do it. And obviously they're being calculated when they do what they do. So it's a bit of a chess match in terms of those things. But some guys are just really good blitzers too, and you like to speed them up and get them back there at times. But absolutely having Mbidi on the back end, having Ray on the back end, those guys are like nickel corners, that can run and hit. So having both those guys back there help us be able to be multiple with what we're doing in terms of our pressure package.
And at the same time, you're asking your corners to come up and make plays at the line of scrimmage. How important is it to have physical cornerbacks, especially against a team like Air Force?
Yeah, it's everybody better be physical against a team like Air Force. There's nowhere to hide on the football field in these CIC games. You have to be a guy that is willing to get down and dirty, so to speak, in these ball games. You have to be a guy that is willing to play with a ton of physicality and be willing to do whatever you can to win your one-on-one matchup. And that's what's going on all across the field is a ton of one-on-one matchups. And obviously they want to out physical us. We want to out physical them. It makes it a heck of a battle on Saturday afternoon.
And thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Mike.
Wags.
Hey, PJ. So you were mentioning the offensive line, and they just got honored this week with a special award for offensive line of the week. Anyone in particular on that line do you think is, particularly effective, blocking?
They're to be honest with you, they're all pretty doggone good. I think I don't want to really single anybody out. I would say that they're really good across the board, though, and all of them have played a lot of football. To be honest with you, I think the left guard, I don't want to mispronounce his name, number 69. He started all 12 games last year for him too, and most of the guys played in at least 12 or 13 games for him last season, except for one of the tackles. So there are guys that have had a lot of success. They've obviously won a lot of games in a row, and they've been able to move people on the defensive line for pretty consistently.
Air Force has always relied heavily on the fullback. I'm sure you're all glad to see Brad Roberts leave. But the kid, Michelle, what are you seeing out of Manuel Michelle, the top fullback? He's leading them in rushing with almost 500 yards.
Yeah, he's really come on. And, you watch him from Robert Morris on, he just sort of took over that role. And they've got some good ones at the position. And he's obviously been the most dominant. And really from Robert Morris on, he sort of stuck out every time he got an opportunity to carry the ball. He runs with physicality. He's able to get north and south quickly, wiggle through tight spaces. He's if you can believe it or not, I recruited him when I was at Kennesaw. So it was a long time ago. He was at Archer High School at the time, and we were looking at him when I was at Kennesaw. So it's been quite some time. But he was a really good player in high school over there in Gwinnett County at Archer High School, and I'm not surprised he's having the success that he's having now. I thought he was a really good player then. I think he's a really good player now.
So, an Air Force has announced that the starting quarterback Zach Larrier is not going to play. More than likely, you're going to get Jensen Jones, another senior. Can you is it different in all for game plan? They are different quarterbacks. Larrier was a 200-meter champion in the Mountain West Conference, both indoor and outdoor. So he's got sprinter speed. He's a guy who's no doubt an edge threat. Calhoun just said yesterday during his press conference that he described Jones as more of a power runner, more of an interior guy. Can you talk about how this impacts your game planning?
Yeah, it just gives us more and more to prepare for. Is really what it comes down to. Is if they do decide to change what they've done so far, we've got to be prepared for that, and then we've got to be prepared for what they've done already as well. So it just gives us a magnitude of things to make sure that our guys have seen. They're able to be able to diagnose and be able to fit and play physical on Saturday. So obviously he's a different type of player, just like you mentioned, Coach Calhoun said. But we've got it makes us have to prepare for a lot.
So I mean, he's played in 11 games, but not much. It's always been in a backup role. Is there really any valuable tape that you can glean that gives you a better idea of what type of player Jones is?
Obviously, you got to look at every rep that you can possibly look at him. His high school film, all those things, to try to just get an idea of what he's capable of and what he can do. And I think we got to do a great job on Saturday figuring out quickly what they want to do and how they want to use him, and then be able to make adjustments as necessary from there.
Thanks,
Wags.
Joe Miller.
Hey, Coach. Shoes kind of on the other foot. We talk to coaches all the time about trying to prepare for Navy's option, and now you have to go from what you've seen the last couple of weeks, which hasn't been anything close to what Air Force does, from the perspective of how do you flip the script quickly? I know obviously you see a lot of it in spring and practice time too, but what's the key to flipping the script to get prepared for Air Force after seeing, shotgun formation and up tempo and all the things that you've seen over the last couple of weeks?
Sure. It's such a challenge. I feel for defensive coordinators that have to go against us with 3 days time. Obviously we've got a bank of things that we have done, versus our offense in the spring. You get 15 practices in the spring, and then obviously you get fall camp, and you have those valuable reps going against similar deal, not really exactly the same. So, and then we spend time obviously in the off season formulating a plan for this game, and spending time on them during the off season and when we can, practice wise as well. So it is a challenge, but you guys being around here, I think these guys are excited about this opportunity, and they hang on every word that you say this week, and every drill you do, and every practice rep you get. They're watching the film. They want to know that exactly where their eyes need to be, what technique they need to be playing, and they're dialed in.
Off of that, I mean, Air Force formation wise does so many different things. Do you ever worry about giving them too much information, or saying we got to prepare for this, and this, or how do you handle that with a team like Air Force that can give you a lot of different looks over, if you're going back over the film over the last 3 or 4 years, I'm sure you see almost everything.
Yeah, I try to give them the most challenging, most difficult things we could possibly see on game day, not a bunch of layups and stuff like that. And that's pretty consistent every week, though. Everybody that we go against, we put the hardest looks that we possibly can to try to prepare our guys for game day, and they do they give a lot of different formations and run a lot of different plays and different motions and things like that. I think the TADs are the guys that have the hardest jobs trying to type in exactly what formation they're in and things like that. And then obviously we got to go back and fix that stuff. But it's a challenge. It absolutely is, but it's one that we relish around here and we're excited about.
In their run game this season, I think they're 8th or 9th in explosive runs this season. They've had a lot of big plays running the football. And, obviously a couple games this season, you guys have been hit with some long running plays. In that general situation, you talk about fits and all and getting everything right on that end. But is that the key in sort of trying to prevent these long rushing plays, is sort of just being prepared and being in the right spot at the right time?
Yeah, you absolutely. I mean, you got to play excellent assignment football, and you got to play with physicality, and your pursuit has to be on point. You can't ever take a play off. We've talked to the guys about, your focus has to be there for every second for 3 hours. And it can't be anything less than that. You have to be dialed in the entire time that you're out there. Any adjustment that needs to be made, any play can be the difference in the football game. And there will be a handful of them, just like there is every Saturday. It's just, when it's these particular games, there's a few less reps that generally occur because the nature of what we both do offensively.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, we'll make another trip around. Scott Wyckoff.
Coach, what kind of advantage is it for you in a game like this and really all season long to have those new sets of eyes, Eric, Ricky, and Brenton? I mean, you and Coach Newberry have been kind of looking at the things through your eyes through 4 years. To have these new set of eyes helping you game plan and what they see when you play a team like this.
Yeah, I could not be more excited and happy with our staff defensively. I just it's just a bunch of guys that come to work and really just want to do whatever they can to help our guys have success on the field. And I got previous relationships with all those guys and really just continue to be blown away by them daily. And we've created an environment in there where everybody's free to speak. We want to make sure that if you got something on your mind, you can talk about it. We can iron it out. And I think that relationship that we have as a staff has enabled us to work through issues that come up. But to have those guys, Eric obviously being a coordinator previously, we talked about a lot of those things. Obviously, everything we do defensively goes through Coach Newberry. And obviously the success he's had at that position. So you got those two guys that I've really been able to lean on this year to help me, in a new role. And then obviously Brenton has a phenomenal relationship with everybody on the football team, but especially the linebackers and coaching those guys. And then Ricky, I mean, what can you not say great about Ricky Brown? Our special teams have really improved drastically. And shoot, the outside linebackers are playing at a really high level as well.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Scott.
Mike, James.
I'm good, thanks.
Wags.
Another guy I was going to ask you about was the tailback, Johnny Lee Eldridge. He's the guy with really good speed. With Larrier being out, he might be the guy they turn to for any perimeter running plays. What do you see in Eldridge?
Yeah, he's a big slot. He's about 200-pound slot with breakaway speed. Obviously made a huge run in the Wyoming game to seal that game off at the end. Did the same thing last year as well. And he's got, he's a thick body at the A-back position. So, one of the things that I think he does really, really well is he steps out of arm tackles. He is not a guy that's going to easily go down at the A-back position. He's a guy that has a strong lower half and runs with violence and physicality. And we've got to know where he's at all times and make sure that we really tackle at an extremely high level against him. We got to come up with a body part every time.
So Air Force was leading the nation in yards per completion. So obviously when they when they throw, they've been hitting deep balls. Obviously the Jones kid he's never completed a pass in his career, so we don't know much about his throwing ability, but we're going to presume that they're going to take some shots. Can you talk about what you've seen out of their passing game?
Yeah, I think they do a great job passing wise. I mean, a few years ago when we went out there, we didn't know who was going to play quarterback, and Zeke Daniels played quarterback, and he hadn't really thrown a pass at that point, and he zipped several in there against us. So we're certainly not going to underestimate that part of their game. And when they run the ball the way that they do, teams are going to commit resources into the box and into the run game, and they've been able to make defenses pay by delivering accurate footballs with great leverage in the pass game. And really, you saw Larrier get better and better at that from week in and week out as he got comfortable playing the position. But I just think those guys are so well coached that there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to be able to be a guy that can throw the ball down the field. And obviously the guy they listed as the third string, that should be the second string or could be the second string guy right now. I mean, his first touchdown pass was an 80-yard touchdown, but his first throw was an 80-yard touchdown versus Nevada last year. So, they've got guys that can throw the ball, and that's something that we certainly have to be prepared for.
Coach Newberry was mentioned Monday that Air Force always seems to throw a few wrinkles at you. Do you have to be prepared for something a little, that you maybe hadn't seen in previous games?
Yes, absolutely. They do a great job. They give you a lot of different looks, and we'll certainly sprinkle something in there that we have not seen before, they have not done before, or they've done a long time ago and then recycled it again. So there's a lot that we've got to prepare for this week. It makes it challenging, but I think the guys and our staff are excited about the challenge.
Thanks, BJ.
Thanks, Wags.
Joe Miller.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned this game has everybody's attention, obviously, and I know you've been through this before, but now as the defensive coordinator with the title, with the play calling sheet and everything like that, for you going into this weekend, what does this mean to you? Is there anything you kind of focus in or try to remind yourself about this game or focus in on?
Yeah, Coach Newberry's been awesome with me with that, and he gave me a book about remaining neutral. And I've really tried to do that in this position as best I can. Obviously you're going to have emotion, but not let emotion play with you. And that's the same thing we talk to our players about is yes, we're going to have emotion and we want to channel that into our execution. But just not let that play with us, that emotion play with us. So it's got to be the same thing for us as coaches. It's obviously a physically violent football game, and that's what we want. But there's a cerebral nature to it as well. And for us to be able to stay focused and execute, no matter what your job is, whether it's calling plays or drawing something up on the sideline to playing a 3 technique or a 0 or playing an inside quarter or rolled up corner. I mean, whatever your job is, you have to channel that emotion that you have into your execution. And we talked about that as a staff. We'll talk about that with our players. And I think it's important for us as coaches, if we ask our guys to do something, we've got to be willing to do the exact same things.